Before starting the video, I'm going to warn you only once. This video is a heavy analyzed taekook video that is a little bit controversial. So if you're not a taekooker or if you're against analyses, don't watch. I'm serious, don't. If you do watch, remember analyses are not facts. They are theories that might be false and also might be true. They are just theories based on possibilities. So if you feel insulted, blame only yourself for watching it despite being warned. If you're still here, please watch it until the very end because this video is very complicated and based on a lot of different clues that are connected together. And remember, you still don't know what kind of conclusions I'm going to make, so don't assume. Yesterday on Mama, we got a very heartbreaking news. Jin mentioned that earlier this year they were thinking about disbanding, and it made a lot of us wonder just why. What could pressure them so much to cause this? Why did they even mention it and broke down like that? A lot of you asked me, Bahare, do you think it's related to taekook? I'm here to answer you through this video because based on my own previous analyses, I also asked myself the same question. I didn't even need to overanalyze. It was one of the first questions that came to my mind. Why? Jin said earlier this year, not the beginning of the year, so we don't even know when it started happening and when it happened. We just know it was this year. So I decided to go back and review everything that happened this year from a taekooker's point of view to answer your question. 2018 started by a taekook hug, but it wasn't all just peaches and flowers. They both seemed to have some sort of problems. There were also barely any interactions between them, but we could also see that Jungkook seemed a little bit off, and some people were even worried about him because of that. And as for Tae, even BTS were worried about him, and J-Hope himself was like, hey, your health is important, and Jimmy was like, we're all here for you, don't worry about it, and everyone were agreeing. So I guess something was bothering them, or at least bothering Taehyung. A few days later, they had to film the monster, but after that, they both just seemed really refreshed and even healthier. And during the award shows, we also could see how happy they were and how their Hyung started to support them. And it was one of the very first times we saw Namjoon putting them together proudly and smiling at Yoongi as if they did something really important. It was the start of them coming into open. The second half of January was when everything changed. Not only Big Hit started suddenly bombarding us with a lot of taekook contents that they didn't used to give us, even Dispatch started posting about them a lot. Same goes for taekook, for example, on 26th, when we saw them going to a hotel only 5 minutes away from their actual home, and we knew they'd reserved it from weeks ago only for the two of them. At first we didn't know why, but after that, starting from February, they went on a very long break to get ready for other things like their concerts and everything. And then on 26th of February, Jungkook posted a teaser of his cover of Roy Kim, Only Then. The lyrics were about not wanting to break up with someone that you love and wanting to keep loving them despite it being forbidden, which seemed very fit for Taekook. And Namjoon was the one who asked them to do it. And it's interesting to know that it's the same song Jungkook kept whispering during the Melon this year, and both him and Taehyung looked very emotional listening to it, and Taehyung looked grateful to Namjoon as he kept listening. And just a day after it, Jungkook released another song that was also related. It said that he used to have a lot of difficulties and problems, but someone came and changed him, and he fell in love with them. But he tried to move on from them, although he couldn't because that person was the only thing that could complete him. They were all of his life. You have to keep in mind that Jungkook himself admitted that it was Taehyung who changed him and helped him to overcome his shyness and problems. And you have to understand that Jungkook himself also told us to pay close attention to the lyrics of the covers he posts, because he also always pays attention to the meanings. That's why we thought that maybe that was the reason why everything started happening, because although it was all forbidden, they were trying to fight for their love and for what they wanted to have and keep. On 3rd of March, someone in BTS, potentially Jungkook himself, posts pictures of Taehyung and himself under sunset taking pictures. Then Dispatch reposts them on their Instagram with these emojis. Later on, when they wanted to post Jungkook's pictures, unlike everyone else, they chose to post them and adding rainbow emojis on the posts. They stayed on their break until April, and then they came back because of their Japan concerts. And honestly, they seemed very happy, and Taekook especially looked very cheerful. We barely got any updates of them after that until they went to LA on 16th. And just like before, Taekook were glued together on LA in every interview, even when they were on airports or airplane. They were all over each other, and even Dispatch was onto them again by making articles about them just by breathing together. And they came back on 18th of May, and in their comeback show they all seemed okay, refreshed and even cheerful. So did Taekook, and they didn't seem to be afraid of any sort of skinship. Same goes for 20th when they went to Billboard Music Awards. And then Dispatch started posting pictures of Taekook wearing matching clothes, and thank God they finally posted pictures of other members too. And they all just seemed very hyped for the night. But there is something I need to mention. On Billboard, Taehyung was wearing something purple, and on that purple thing it was written, "I do what I want." It was so close to the time they were deciding on what to do with their contract, so him wearing that is very interesting to me. On 25th of May, they had a conference and Jin said they are discussing about their contract and they hope to give us good news soon. On 27th of May and 3rd of June, they had fan meetings, and even in there, they started talking about the future, about what they think about Jungkook's Golden Closet films, and even Jungkook started using the purple metaphor by saying that, "Hey, do you know how much I love you? Because everything I own is in purple." 보라해, which means I purple you, which is something Taehyung himself invented, because as he said, purple is the color of love and trust. And after that, he started asking everyone to fill everything he does with purple hearts and used 보라해 a lot, just like how Taehyung started saying, "So show me, I show you," which is a part of Jungkook's magic shop. And I still think by this phrase they meant, "Hey, just show me your support so I can show you what you want to see." Then things go normal until the festa. First we get the letter Yoongi wrote for only Jungkook and Taehyung, and it was supportive and made them cry. And then on 13th of June, when they had a live to advertise and tell people to watch their prom party, everyone started talking about what is going to happen during the show and gave spoilers, and then suddenly Jungkook was like, "Hey, I want to tell you something." And Namjoon was like, "Hey, didn't say it, it's obvious, I will let you say it this time." Jin was panicking and Jungkook was like, "No, just wait for it." And even until now, we still don't know what it was, because it wasn't about a mixtape. There is no mixtape right now. It wasn't about his abs, we already know about it. It wasn't about his magic shop, because we already knew about it. So we still wonder what it really was about. It was also the time that they started hinting that Jungkook was the moon, and they wanted to keep on letting him making GCFs until the moon. And it was the same day Taehyung said that fake love is about us. And it was also the same day that Jimin kept looking at them anxiously and kept asking, "Jungkook, Taehyung, don't you want to say something?" But instead of saying anything, Taehyung just went on like, "So show me, I show you." And the other two just followed him. So we all know that 15th is Korea's Pride Day. And the day after that, Taehyung posted this on Fan Cafe. "Rainbow, like the final color, let's see the colors until the end." Then on 29th, on a live, Jungkook mentioned that there was a GCF that Bang PD himself asked him to do, and he was copy-pasting things for it. But we still didn't get anything for it. We didn't see anything new from them until 22nd of June. Well, you guess what happened on that day. After that, they went to film their summer package, and during the whole thing, they were they weren't even subtle. For example, that scene when Taehyung called Jungkook his friend, and Jungkook literally just asked, "Am I your friend?" And then everyone started laughing. That's literally what Jungkook himself called Yoongi, or what Jimin called Namjoon. It was no problem. But as soon as Taehyung called Jungkook that way, he was like, "Am I your friend? Just refer to me correctly." And we don't see them again until like 7th of July when they come back with the concert and they look happier and more cheerful. We didn't hear from them for a whole while until they went to Malta because of Bon Voyage, and then after a while Tae also joined them. And during the whole thing we could just see Taekook sharing a room and acting like domestic husbands every night. On 22nd of August, they came back again, and as soon as they did, Dispatch started posting pictures of them again. Even things like this that had nothing to do with their comeback. It was just a Taekook thing. From then on, we kept seeing rainbows everywhere, even on Bang PD's post saying rainbow is on us. After that, every time we saw them was on different kind of concerts, and in most of them they looked very happy and cheerful. And as soon as Jungkook got hurt, everyone tried to cheer him up, and it actually worked because even he said that he was beating himself up for it, but now he was feeling like he had to just make up for it. As I mentioned, they started talking about the contract since May, but they only gave the news about renewing their contract on October. And just so you know, their current contract is still ongoing and it still has another year before it finishes. And then the other 7 years of the newer contract starts. Then on 24th of October, we got Moonchild, and as I mentioned before in my Moon theory, Moon is actually Jungkook. And as they mention in the song, it says, Moonchild, you shine. When moon rises, it's your time. And then a purple moon starts going up. And it's also related to Taehyung's 4 o'clock, as if it's talking about a certain time that Jungkook was supposed to do something. It also has a certain number on it that Jungkook himself kept mentioning over the past few years. It's 1, 2, 3 or 12:30. And he admitted that it does have a meaning, but only a meaning that he knows, and he didn't deny that it might be related to Taehyung's birthday, which is in only a few days. A few weeks ago also there was an article of someone talking to Dispatch, and in it was mentioned that Dispatch agreed that they wouldn't out any gay couples because it was against the law. But they also said there are a lot of LGBTQ plus idols in K-pop. Well, duh. And in a very famous group, there is a gay man whose boyfriend is also from the same group, and he's very, very popular. And since they always just keep posting pictures of Taekook, it made a lot of people question it and say why they mentioned it. What I'm trying to say is that even if you go back on time and try to just see what they're doing, all you see is just some kind of hints and their normal interactions, but you don't really see them going against Big Hit. Actually, Big Hit seems to support them in every way. So even though it might be possible that it was one of the reasons it kept getting delayed, I don't really think it was the reason they wanted to disband. And it was also the same year that, unlike before, Taekook got very close together and started sending strong hints and got a lot of support from their youngs and got to be more open. And it's interesting that this was the year J-Hope said he realized that love can get experienced in very different ways, and even K-Army said that he was referring to LGBTQ plus love. And in this past 2 weeks, Jungkook had been very active. You know, we all know that Jungkook is not really that active normally, but lately he keeps posting selfies pretty much every day, thank God for that, asking if we love him, making chat rooms to talk to ARMY, telling us to change our profile if we really do love him, as if he really just wants us to keep telling him and comforting him that yeah, we do love you no matter what. Now we get to the moment in Japan when Jungkook said that he wants to film an MV with his Golden Closet film, and Taehyung said that he wants to do the jacket shooting. We don't know if it's related to the GCF Bang PDs asked him to do months ago or not, but I think it's very interesting. Now let's talk about last nights of Mama. Everyone were emotional and they cried a lot during the whole speeches, but I think it's also important how people cry and when. And I think it's also interesting what they were saying. For example, when Hoseok said that even if he wouldn't take this prize, just like how he's crying over it right now, he would also cry that time too. But he really wanted to win this prize at least this time because of all the love we gave them and they wanted to give it back this way. But you should know they practice their speeches, especially speeches that are this important beforehand. And that's why as soon as Jin even started to take the mic, Jungkook's breathing got harder, as if he couldn't even breathe anymore. And he was so close to crying. What caught me off guard was when Jimin hugged him to comfort him without even seeing him cry, as if he knew this particular speech would make him need the support. And during the speech, Taekook kept looking at each other as if there was something they both knew about it. And even Namjoon wasn't looking at Jin, who was doing the speech. He kept looking back and forth at Taekook as if it was related to them. But then Taeyoung broke down crying, and it was Jungkook who hugged him and comforted him, and everyone else just gave them some space. But I thought maybe I was just reading too much into everything until last night when 3 posts were posted on Fan Cafe. The first one was from Namjoon, and he was referring to his own song Moonchild. He referred to Moon by putting on these lyrics of his song. The next one was from Jungkook, who admitted that it was a very hard year for them and asked us if we were happy with them so far, and said, even though we'll grow older and leave each other's hand, our traces will always be engraved in our mind. And even when you think of when we walked together, I hope it's precious to you and it makes you happy. It kind of sounded like someone who was not sure if it's time to goodbye or not, like someone just making sure and giving a note about it, just in case. And then Taeyoung posted and thanked us and said he wanted to spend every day of forever with us. But then this part came. If there is an end to it, let's just laugh and hug each other. This time, my heart won't be shaking anymore. I'll tell you everything. What does he mean? So there's something that his heart was shaking to say before, but later he wants to tell us? Is it related to what Jungkook had been wanting to tell us for ages, but never really told us? So there's really something we don't know about, and they need to tell us. That's when it clicked. They had been hinting it all year. First they got closer and started observing to see if it was really safe, if people would still love them, no matter what. And they mentioned this whole thing to see everyone's reaction. Both of them reacted strangely to it all. Both of them were making announcements for months. Both of them were trying to tell us something, and both of them talking about what ifs after what was said in Mama. Maybe they are talking about what ifs because even they don't know. Maybe because the possibility of them having to live is there, and they hope to stay and keep getting their support, but they need to tell us something that might put that in risk. Maybe we are the ones who decide that. For now, this is the theory I got for everything that had been going on. But it's just a theory. It might be right, it might be wrong, but don't forget that it doesn't really even matter. Because what really matters is to just keep supporting them no matter what. They deserve it. Be purple, you BTS. Be purple, you Taekook. Thank you for staying. We want you to keep staying. All of you.
But I still want